Now, as I said on the show before a gazillion times, I love having local entertainers coming in. Maybe it's a new restaurant that's opening up, or maybe a new shop that sells something unique. Well, this gun, or I said gun. It's called Sixx Gun. I don't know why I started with gun. It's not a gun store. It's a guitar store.
It's a Freudian slip, Brian.
Yes,
it's okay.
It was I talk about guns so much on the show. Sixx Gun Music Shop is going to be opening up in Las Vegas on November 19th. It's really cool. And these guys, they make their own guitars. They're original guitars. It's so cool. So I figured what better people to have in to talk about than Daniel and Alicia, who are running the whole store, and it's going to be opening up November 19th. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. Really appreciate it. How are you?
No problem. Happy to be here in Las Vegas. It's a lot warmer than where we're from.
Yeah, you know what's amazing? It's amazing, Daniel, when I give something away, the phone lines just light up. I get 30 people calling in. Do you have a $5,000 guitar that you'd like to give away or anything like that?
I'm sure people would like that, yeah.
So first of all, tell me a little bit about your background, because my understanding is you're a longtime musician, which is pretty fair guess for people that own a guitar store. They play the guitar, they're musicians, right? So give me a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. I am a drummer, a professional drummer who builds guitars. So, how this happens is, you tour the world, you work with a lot of different people, and they break their stuff. And I started out just, repairing it. But over the years, I've got to sit in and play with some great acts, including, Meatloaf, Jay Giles.
Oh, that's great.
I played with...
How do you meet a guy like Meatloaf? How does that happen?
Several times. I mean, the first time I ran into him was actually at NBC TV studios in L.A. I was doing a session, and I ran into him in the hall, and I said... "Hey, you're Meatloaf." And he goes, "Yes, I am."
Is that what he said?
Yes.
Yes, I am. And you end up jamming with him?
Yeah, he actually came out. I was the music director for President Clinton's second inaugural, and he came out on stage.
You were the music director?
Yeah.
What is that? Okay, so what does that mean?
It means that he has lots of different acts and music going on.
And you chose the acts for Bill Clinton?
And for some of it, yeah. For some of the performance.
How about the women? Did you choose the women?
Yes, yeah.
Sorry,
absolutely.
that was a horrible joke.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. So you actually chose... Okay, so let me ask you a question then. This is interesting. And not to get into politics, but there are some bands that don't want to be associated with certain people. Trump. And so, like...
What?
When a band doesn't want to be associated, is it still legal for that politician to play their music?
Absolutely.
How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, legal doesn't come into it. A lot of times people will just decline based on personal preferences, how politics get into basically everything.
Did you have bands that did not want to be associated with Bill Clinton?
There are always bands that don't want to be associated.
Can you give me a band?
Nothing in particular. Okay. Nothing I can say on the air.
Fair enough. So that's pretty cool, though. So you worked with a lot of bands, and that's so you worked with the Clinton campaign. That's very neat. I didn't know that about you. Okay, so you meet a guy like Meatloaf. You've been a musician for an extremely long time, and my understanding is that you're in a band now, right?
I am, yeah. Currently, I'm doing several different projects, but one of which is a band called Clutch Lock, and that features Tony Franklin on bass, Masa Takahashi, who was, another music director, who worked with a lot of guys, and myself, and we are a four-piece. The record should be out in the new year, and it's modern rock. I mean, it's heavy. It's, Foo Fighter-ish meets Guns N' Roses.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, so tell me why you decided to open up this store, and the idea of it, it's not just some store where you're just going to see a bunch of generic Gibson guitars, right? This is a store where you make your own guitars from scratch. Is that right?
Correct. You will come in, and if you come into our store, you will see guitars that you have never seen before. You will see some real unique pieces. We build under the brand Margasa, which is my last name, Daniel Margasa. And of course, we carry other brands, but we also, I guess our biggest hook here is that on top of building custom guitars, we allow you to come in and build custom guitars via our Build Your Own Guitar workshop. So it's a excellent experience, and you won't find that anywhere else.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I have a project that you might be able to help me out with. So you'll probably have heard of this band before. The band is called Live. They've been one of my favorite bands since the 90s.
Of course.
So what would you call this piece here, this part of the guitar?
That is a Stratocaster pickguard.
Okay, so I bought this. I didn't want to bring the whole guitar backstage, right? So I got this. Somebody gave me a tip.
Is this a surprise?
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. So I got the whole band to sign it, right?
Outstanding.
And I'm thinking to myself, these guys are going to come in. Maybe you could give me a price. I want you to make a guitar for me. I want this. I want this to be on a guitar.
Outstanding.
And the theme, of course, is live, right? And I want to. It's not going to be a guitar that I'm going to play.
Right.
I just want to hang it up on my wall. So can you do that for me? So somebody walks in like me with a piece like this. Let's just go by this. What can you do for me here with this thing?
If you wanted to build a guitar, you wanted to build it, right? So this is your hands, you coming into the workshop, build an entire Stratocaster-style guitar around that. It can be done in a build-your-own guitar workshop for $349.
That's not bad. So if I just want to hand it over to you,
yes,
like right now,
$6
and I say,
million.
I can't. Maybe $5 million. That's a little bit too much. Give me 50% off. So if I handed it to you right now, what would you be able to do for me? I said, listen, I don't want to be a part of it. You're the professional here. I don't need anything expensive because I'm not going to play the guitar.
Correct.
I want to hang it up on my wall. What could you do for me?
Yeah, I mean, you could have a finished, done by me. Now it's going to be a kit guitar versus a custom build. Realize I'm not going to go chop down a tree and build your body, right?
Right.
However, I will work from a kit, and I could have it painted, done, finished, ready for you to hang on the wall.
You could paint something like live on there.
Yes.
Oh, that's
still
so cool.
Playable, and you'd be talking maybe the $500 range.
That's not
for
bad.
a complete work
That's actually
of art.
That's actually
Now
pretty
it's
cool.
art,
Yeah,
yeah.
because this is something I'm going to hang up on my wall. So I might have to take you up on something like that.
Yes.
That actually sounds very cool. Okay, so talk to me about when your store is opening and the different array of guitars that you have and where you're located.
Sure. We are opening on November 19th. We are doing a VIP sort of / red carpet event from 4 to 5. From 5 to 5:30 is the ribbon cutting. And from 6 o'clock on is a little bit of live music, some guitar players on the stage. There is food, there is drink, there is
food. That'll lure me in.
150 guitars on the wall and really interesting pieces, which I could talk about to look at.
What is the most interesting piece you have in your store right now?
I have the Appetite for Destruction cabinet / used for recording that record for Guns N' Roses.
Well, hold on. You have a used Guns N' Roses guitar, the guitar that
No,
Slash...
I have the cabinet. So a cabinet, like a 412 Marshall cabinet, 1968 Marshall, used by Slash to record the Appetite for Destruction album.
So what would something like that go for?
We don't even have a price on it. I mean, I bought it for me because,
if somebody walks in, though, with like 25 grand, would you get rid of it?
I guess we could talk. I mean, we would discuss it. You know, I mean, we've had offers already. We also have a Marshall head, a JTM 45 that was used by Angus Young on an AC/DC record. We have an Eric Clapton road case, from an 80s tour. I mean, we've got a lot of interesting gear. The thing about being in the music business and being who I am to boot is we know a lot of these people. So occasionally I'll get a call from a tech or a roadie. It's never going to be Madonna who calls me, unfortunately. But,
Well, if she did call you, she'd probably call you 3 hours late. Oh, wait, we're going to get to that story. She likes to show up at 12:30 a.m. on stage.
So what are the origins of Sixx Guns, the name Sixx Guns?
Sixx Gun is a take from an old Western six-shooter. So, the Billy the Kid guns were six-shooters. And when I grew up being on the East Coast, we used to literally hang out in this little town in New Hampshire, which was known as Sixx Gun City. And it was just a very cool old Western vibe about it. And when I thought about doing a music store, I thought, it should have a theme. I mean, you walk into a music store, which shall remain nameless, but they're set up like a Walmart. They all look the same. They have the slat, guitar hangers on the wall.
Maybe it was Walmart. I don't know.
And, we really have a kind of an older vibe about us, a lot of Western things going on. We're set up more like Jimi Hendrix's living room. There's carpets, there's couches. Bring your dog, bring your coffee.
So is there like a giant projector in the background with the Hateful Eight playing or something on those lines?
Full time.
That's
full
perfect.
time. It's on our screen. Oh, there is a TV screen.
Is there?
Yes. And there's always something on there. It might be a Clint Eastwood movie, but it might be the Hateful Eight.
So who is the most overrated guitar player that you would say, and who is your favorite guitar player of all time? For me, it was Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I love Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I've always been a big fan of his. But who's the most overrated guitar player? Somebody that you think gets too much hype?
I guess, there's... I hate to even say names because we know a lot of these guys, but, there are a lot of guys that people are talking about all the time. I mean, Steve Vai would be one. He gets a lot of hype. He's a great player. And I think he's done some things to break new ground, and he's very masterful. But my favorite guitar player, even though I'm a Steve Vai fan, is got to be Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, that's a good one. Does it anything get you more upset as a musician to watch somebody like Jay-Z, who a lot of people, respect a lot and think, wonderful musician? He goes up on stage, I don't think it was a Super Bowl, but he goes up on stage using a guitar as a prop no idea how to play the guitar, singing off-key to an Oasis song. There's video of this on YouTube. I'm thinking, why don't you just stick to your bread and butter, Jay-Z? What are you doing? You look like a buffoon. I mean, does that bother you when people use a guitar as a quote-unquote crop and they have no idea what they're doing?
The only thing more annoying than that is a long line at a buffet.
So that's okay.
That's
so
a
you're
real
saying
problem.
you're pretty annoyed by it.
Yeah, I'm pretty annoyed by
So
it.
do you consider someone a musician if they don't play an instrument?
I do, because
I like this guy. See, I
because
like this guy. We
vocals,
agree.
Singing
We agree.
is an instrument. I mean, you are the instrument.
Right.
Right. And also, I think, vocalizing is even more of a natural talent. Anybody can learn to play the guitar. Anyone can learn to play the piano. You can also become a great singer, but to inherently have a talent, that's coming from your diaphragm.
See, I agree with that. I think there are too many music today. God, I sound old saying that. I remember my dad, I was like maybe 10 years old, and I'm in the car with my dad, and he's playing Buddy Holly and Elvis Presley, and he's like, Brian, you have no idea what good music is. Back in the day, this was the real deal. And I'm like, Dad, you're so damn old, right? Now I get in the guitar with these, I get in the car with like a millennial, right? And I'm playing some of my music. Could be STP, could be Pearl Jam, Dave Matthews Live, whatever. They're like, what the hell is this crap? And I'm like, what the hell is this? I could play Nirvana and they don't know what the hell it is.
Right.
And they're listening to Justin Bieber.
Right.
I mean,
Thinking it's real music.
Yeah.
Right.
Britney Spears gets on stage and she lip syncs for an hour, gets paid $300,000, and people think she's a musician. No, she's not. She's more of a stripper than a musician.
Yeah. That's all. I call that fabricated music. I mean, anybody can, do
What
that.
happened to the alternative rock sound of the 90s? It's gone now.
Well, we started by losing our guitar heroes. Where did
Right.
guitar heroes came from? The 70s and the 80s, we had all the greatest guitar heroes, and it sort of went out of fashion for a while because technology came up and everybody said, oh, I can make music with my computer. I can buy a Pro Tools rig and I'm a musician. Owning a Pro Tools rig and a computer doesn't make you a musician.
So how do you...
I think that EDM kind of did a number to that genre, Brian.
But yeah, I agree. But let's go back to what he just said in regards to pressing buttons. There are some DJs. Some of them have talent. I'm not saying they don't have talent. They create their own music. But let's call it for what it is. Many of these DJs, some of them, I shouldn't say many of them, some of them do not play any musical instruments. They press buttons, okay? And then they get paid hundreds of thousands of... Hold on. I know you're going to...
Pauly D is a musical genius, Brian. I will not hear this from you.
That was funny. I thought he was actually going to disagree with me, but that was funny. But no, seriously, though, somebody like Pauly D, I'm glad you bring him up. He gets paid enormous amounts of money. He has no musical talent. He shows up, calls himself a quote-unquote DJ. When I thought a DJ was someone said, all right, guys, coming up next, Justin Bieber's new single off his next album. I thought that was a DJ. But then these guys, they show up at these nightclubs. Paris Hilton. Don't even get me started with her, but she shows up at one of these nightclubs. They pay her six figures to be a DJ, and she's just...
But we know why that's going on.
Yeah, but
she's Paris Hilton.
it's got to bother a lifelong musician like yourself. It bothers me. I'm not a musician.
Right.
But you clearly want to be.
Yeah, I try and look at it from the point of, a good DJ is sort of like a good engineer, right? Some engineers are really good at what they do, and some guys have figured out how to be a great DJ.
So back to the guitars. How long does it take? What's the turnaround time for a custom guitar? And what if someone wants to buy a guitar from out of state? How does that process work?
We sell a lot of guitars all over the world, actually. I mean, last night we were having a guy email us about a guitar, and he lives in Argentina. We can ship anywhere in the world, and it happens all the time. If someone wants to buy a guitar from out of state, they'll usually, call the shop. They'll speak to Alicia, because I'm in the back covered in sawdust. And, she'll put it all together. Custom guitars, on the other hand, that's not going to go out tomorrow. That's something that it's from mild to wild. So if you want a guitar that, looks like Mickey Mouse, that might take 4 to 6 weeks, as long as 8 weeks if I'm really busy with other guitars. But the Build Your Own Guitar Workshop, on the other hand, we're working from kits. So we've either pre-made or pre-ordered sort of a kit that sort of goes together, and that can be done in a day.
And what about safety measures? What if something goes wrong with the guitar, and how does the repair process work?
Other than like taking the guitar and fighting each other with it, they're usually pretty safe.
Right.
But if something goes wrong with the guitar, of course, we have a warranty. On a custom guitar, it's really a life warranty. I mean, if someone, does something to the guitar that is inherently they did it, that's different. We'll fix the guitar. We can repair it. We can do amazing repairs on guitars, whether it's ours or someone else's.
So what would you do, Daniel, if somebody walked in with Trump gear, Make America Great Again? They said, I want a Make America Great Again guitar. I want Donald Trump's picture all over the guitar. Or vice versa, if somebody wanted a Hillary Clinton guitar. I don't know. I'm just going both ways here.
Yeah.
How would you go about that, and would you be able to do it?
Someone did tell me you go both ways. And so,
Hey, you're not allowed to be funnier than me on this show. What are you doing? Go ahead.
we'll
That was
do it.
awesome.
I mean, we will. You know what we do is we cater to your needs. It's not about me. I mean, if I'm a painter and you call me to paint your house, I don't get to choose the color.
God, if only my dates would say that. I cater to your needs. My life would be so much better. So you would do it, though.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How much would that run me? If I wanted a Make America Great Again guitar, decked out in the Orange Man, Donald Trump, I would imagine it would be an orange guitar. I don't know. That would be up to you.
Yeah.
But how much would that cost? What would that run me? And how would you go about that?
That sounds like a 3D carve. So you may be talking like $3,000-$4,000.
$3K?
Like that.
What if we wanted 10? We wanted 10 Vegas take guitars to give away to our loyal listeners at some point over the next.
You're putting them on the
years.
spot.
I'm actually not kidding right now. What would
Yeah.
that cost us? Just as a
Yeah,
starting point.
We've done some radio station guitars, full blown carve, and really it's gonna there's a lot of details to work out. On the low end, it could be done for $1,200. On the high end, I mean, fully carving versus painting or.
And that's per guitar.
That's per guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting into, I mean, we did one.
You want to fork that money up, JD? Go ahead.
Yeah, radio station in Boston. I mean, $7,500 they paid for theirs. You know what I mean? But of course, then it went to concert, and Joan Jett and Tom Schultz from Boston played it, and it was kind of got a lot of press. So
That
what
is
is the
all of us.
cheapest guitars for somebody that does not have a lot of money that wants to walk out of there with
Yes,
an instrument? What is
yeah.
the cheapest guitar?
Yeah,
you have?
sometimes I just draw one out on paper.
Okay, that's a start.
That can be had for
Because
like a few pennies.
listen, when you walk into a Walmart, like you said, or Guitar Center or some of these other places,
Yeah.
and if you want a really cheap guitar, you can get one for around $100.
Yeah.
Now it's not
Yeah.
going to look anywhere near as
Yeah.
nice as your guitars.
If you just want a non-custom guitar, but a real nice playing guitar, brand new off our wall, you can find one for $200.
Oh, that's not too
Yeah.
bad. That's
Yeah,
not too bad.
absolutely.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
So what else?
Let's talk about this one right here.
Okay, well, this one. Okay, so describe it, JD, because we're on the radio.
He can describe it, but
Okay.
it looks amazing to me.
This people don't know what this one means, but I'll let you describe it. Go ahead.
This is the newest model we have. It's called the Margasa Bolt, and
Ooh.
obviously it looks like a lightning bolt.
JD's looking like he wants to make love to it right now.
And
I mean, it's immaculate. It is literally
pretty
amazing.
nice.
It's pretty great.
And it's it's a beautiful guitar, but at the end of the day, it's a guitar that looks like a lightning bolt that you can actually plug in and play.
It looks like the guitar in Mad Max, the new Mad Max that the guy was playing
Yeah.
on that when they were they're
Yes.
going to war and
Yeah.
stuff. They're on that crazy
Yeah.
vehicle. It
Yeah.
looks just like
Except
that
there's
guitar.
only one of these.
most
so,
famous,
Yeah.
famous person you ever made a guitar for?
Geez, we're probably still doing it. We're doing a real cool project right now that is going to Billy Gibbons, ZZ Top.
Okay, so Billy, how does that work? Does he call you, or does one of his people call you? How does that happen?
Never starts like that. I met Billy at a show in Boston. My manager was in town, and he was doing a show called Kings of Chaos. It was actually, was invited out to the show, and he was playing with a lot of different guys. Chester Bennington, one of his last shows, my buddy Chester. So they
I
called
met
me
Chester.
up.
Was a great guy.
Yeah, so I knew Chester, and they asked me to come out to the show. I happened to be in Boston, so I went in.
So you're friends with Chester?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah. Been to
that's
his house,
tragic.
hung out with him. Yeah. And
So what was he like, if you don't mind me asking, behind the scenes?
he was an interesting character, you know what I mean? But a nice guy, a family guy. I mean, he had.
Did anybody really
kids,
know?
wife.
Did you know the pain that he was going through? We all knew he went through sexual abuse and stuff, but I don't think anybody truly knew the hell that he went through every day.
No,
Right?
no, absolutely not. He was really good at hiding that and kind of burying that, but that's part of the problem.
He's such a talented guy.
Yeah,
What an unbelievable voice.
When you bury that, then you kind of go off and feel like you have to deal with it on your own. And that's what he did. He dealt with it in his way, on his own.
And you went into his house. You met his family, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Nice
of course.
family, right?
Yeah, of course.
I
Yeah.
remember, not to end this interview on a sad note, but I remember, when Chris Cornell took his own life.
Yes.
And I was a huge Soundgarden fan growing
Yeah.
up. And I
Yeah, me
remember
too.
watching the funeral, watching the video, and it was Chester Bennington that was singing at Cornell's funeral.
Right.
And I said, wow, here's a guy that just lost one of his best friends.
Yeah.
He's depressed.
Yeah.
And I remember saying this. I said, boy, I hope nothing like that ever happens to Chester. And then, boom, months later, he takes his own life.
not too long
it's
after.
It's so tragic and it's so sad because when you lose these people, they're great people. They're husbands, their fathers, their sons. You know, but on top of that, we also lose general public loses great musicians. Amazing talents.
Yeah.
Very important question here.
Sure.
Is there any chance that Brian and I can be photographed holding this guitar after this show?
Absolutely.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm very happy
that'd
about
be great.
That was your big question.
That was absolutely, yeah.
What do you think? He was going to say no?
Well, our live stream it's not picking up on it. It's not zooming in strong enough, and I want people to see how awesome this guitar is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to market it.
I would imagine he was going to say yes. If he said no, that would have been the end of the interview. Okay,
Yeah,
then get the hell out of here. No, I'm just kidding.
He would have muted my microphone.
He would have definitely parted you down.
So before we go, we only have about a minute here. I want you to give the rundown again on this store. Give out the location again. Give out the grand opening. And why people should come out, even if they're not into guitars. Why should people check out your store?
Well, November 19th at 1631 East Sunset. We're literally less than a mile, off the strip, or about a mile. And they're going to come in. I got some superstars coming in. We got James Vaughn, bass player with Billy Squier. He's going to be hanging out. Mike DeArmond from the Fender Custom Shop in Corona, California. He's coming out. Buster Acree, keyboard player with Sammy Hagar, Steely Dan, Super Bowl, Stevie Wonder. Good friend of mine. He's coming out. Dan Smith, played guitar with Julian Lennon, John Lennon's son. He's coming out. So we just got a lot of my buddies that I've played and toured with. They just are coming down. November 19th, 4 to 7, there's food, there's drinks, there's superstars. You're going to see 30, 40, 50 guitars out of the 150 that you've never seen before. We have a Bart Simpson guitar. We've got the Bolt that's going to be there.
I want a Larry David guitar.
Yeah.
I want a Curb Your Enthusiasm
we
guitar.
could do a Brian guitar,
Well, you wouldn't want to see that. It wouldn't be a lot of hair on there. It'd be very bald.
Right. There's some facial hair on there, though.
Maybe a lot of too much facial hair.
Might need a microphone on there, too.
We could get Stein a Seinfeld guitar.
Yeah, he would probably appreciate that. All right, well, listen, I appreciate you guys for coming in. Thank you so much. I will do my best to try to make it out that day. That sounds like a good
Absolutely.
Good,
I will
good time,
never
a lot
forgive
of fun.
you if you don't.
Yeah, I will do my best to be there. I appreciate it. Okay, Alicia and Daniel, thank you so much for being here. It is the new Sixx Gun Music Shop. It's going to be opening up November 19th, 4 to 7 p.m. Free food, drinks, some superstar celebrity musicians there. Check it out. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.